because obviously with the first leg result, that would have been enough. But to go and really come up with a statement win like this, does that feed the Real Madrid mystique narrative?
To a certain degree. I mean, they got off to an unbelievable start, didn't they? They'd hardly touched the ball. Asensio has time on the ball, and he just plays. He's playing into a good area, and he plays it for the run, and it's inch perfect in the end. But from Man City's point of view, it's such a poor goal to give away. The two centre-halves don't read it quickly enough. Two centre-halves aren't quick enough. Diaz tries to head a ball that he can't head, so he stumbles on the ground. Ederson's in no man's land. It's a lovely ball played over the top and a great finish. But that put them in control of the game. Now Man City are already 2 goals down in the tie. So it made it a lot easier for Real Madrid. They played well, don't get me wrong. Their closing down was good. Their passing was good. They found spaces to play. They were excellent.
All right, let's get to the negativity then. It was weird because the day before, so Erling Haaland had a knock at the weekend. You saw it at the end of the Newcastle game.
Yep.
He trained the day before. Supposedly came to training fine, but apparently not because he didn't start this game. Were you a little surprised just in the sense that City are way behind in the league? They're not going to win the league. This is a shot that you have. I mean, do we think it was more serious than we thought? Did you go on the... If you'd been Haaland, would you say, all right, screw this, I'm going to take a painkiller and go out there? Or, I mean, it's a medical thing, right?
It's a medical thing. And from what I gather, and the interview I saw with Pep Guardiola, he was saying that Haaland made the decision. Haaland said, I don't feel right, don't quite feel good enough to play, so we're not going to play him, which I can understand from a manager's point of view. As soon as a player says to you, well, I'm not really sure about this, and I'm not sure, you go, okay.
So that's not a thing. But the City formation and the lineup choices, I think, were interesting. Whether it's Kusanov on the right.
Yep.
Frankly, nobody. We talked about this off air, but it looked as if on the left-hand side, it was just Gvardiol all by himself.
Yep.
Whatever they tried kind of blew up in their face.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his system was. Marmoush, I presume, was meant to be playing through the middle, but he drifted into different areas. Savinho, when I saw the 11 players that he picked, I thought Savinho would play on the left-hand side and be 1v1 against Valverde, who's a midfield player playing at right back, but he's a good player all round. I just was shocked by who was playing in what position in the midfield. They looked disorganised. Yeah. There's no legs in there either.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into this and his team selection. I want to go back to Haaland for a minute because obviously he was on the bench. I guess there's 2 ways. You start him, and then if he doesn't feel well, he comes off. But maybe that's a bad look. Maybe you don't want to waste the substitution. Although Pep not really known for using all 5 of his subs or being worried about his substitutions. Maybe you bring him on the bench so that in the hopes that, hey, maybe we're 3-0 up at halftime and we don't need to bring him on. What's the thinking there? Because again, it's not a muscular injury he suffered. I mean, certainly we saw the dynamic, right? What's the...
Well, I don't understand it because as a coach or a player, I was either fit to play or not fit to play. You can't say, well, I might be fit for half an hour or I might be fit for 20 minutes. If you're not fit, you're not fit.
Well, I think with that kind of... I mean, I think there are some injuries where you might say that if you're short on match fitness.
If you're coming back from an injury, and you might sort of say, well, you know, as a coach, you might say to him, well, you haven't played for 6 weeks. You know, if you can play 60 minutes for us, you know, and then I know you're going to be tired. We're talking about tiredness now. We're not talking about fitness, an injury. And I think that's what Haaland was saying to the manager. You know, I don't feel right. Something's not right. You can't then go and be the substitute because if you then come on and get a worse injury, I just don't understand it.
Maybe he didn't train for a couple of days. Maybe some players, if they don't train, they don't feel ready to play. Maybe he didn't play for I'm speculating. I'm giving them an out. Maybe he didn't train for a couple of days after the Newcastle game to recover from his knock. Could it be that?
It could be.
And then he only had like the mild training session on Tuesday.
As a coach, I would say to the player, you know, he'd come like, oh, I said, so are you fit enough to play? And then, well, okay, you're not fit enough to play. If you're thinking about it, you're not fit enough to play. Make sure you go see the physio. You have your recovery, and we'll make sure we get you right for the next game. You don't sort of, we might bring you on after 20 minutes, or we might bring you on for the last 10 minutes. You can't do that as a coach.
Right, but when it's your best player, I mean,
or your best goal scorer. Yeah. But I still, yeah. He's either fit or he's not fit.
I'm going to go back to this Pep thinking outside the box. I'm never going to criticize a coach for trying to do things differently. But even if it doesn't work, right? I mean, that's what made Pep great. He was creative. He still is creative. He tries something creative, and it doesn't work in this game. What I might question a little bit is it's not like they were 3 goals down. All they had to do was win by 1 goal. And I know, obviously, Real Madrid scored early, and that changed the dynamic of the game. But I just wonder, did you have to go so far outside the box in a match like this when, Real Madrid, they still have the same issues that they have. Rudiger just coming back from his injury. You have an emergency right back. The lack of balance in the team, which we've talked about, is still there. I mean, when they work hard and work well, then it works well. But does it almost show a sign of weakness when you go and throw this weird curveball? I mean, we've seen, by the way, these are Pepisms from the past. You remember Laporte at left back against Liverpool and dropping, who was it? He dropped Aguero one game, and almost like, does it harken back to that a little bit?
I mean, there was only one player that was really, if you looked at the team shape, there was only one player that was played in a strange position compared with the rest of the players, and was Savinho.
Well, I'd argue Kusanov at right back.
But Kusanov, he's playing him at right back, but he's still playing as a right back. So the shape of the team would have been okay if it had had Savinho out on the left-hand side. Then there was a balance to the side, rather than having just Guardiola defending and trying to attack down the whole of the left-hand side. And really, we didn't see anything of Savinho. So he's been quite an influential player when he's played at his best. But where he was playing, I don't think he knew where he was playing. At times I saw him up front, at times I saw him on the right wing, at times I saw him sort of in the inside right position. But 10 yards away was Phil Foden. And then Gundogan and Nico and Bernardo Silva in midfield. There's no legs in there, so you got a problem.
What struck me too about the decisions in the midfield, like you said, not much in the way of legs. I mean, Nico, I suppose, is supposed to provide the legs. Gundogan, I didn't understand. I mean, wouldn't Kovacic make more?
Absolutely. I've watched Kovacic play. I've seen Kovacic play recently, and he's been one of their better players. I think he's played really well. Gundogan looks way off the pace to the player that I saw 2 years ago. He didn't play particularly well, I didn't think, at Barcelona. And Bernardo Silva, in terms of his athleticism and his defensive qualities, which you're going to have at some point in the game, they're not there anymore. So it's a massive problem.
What struck me about the Kusanov decision as well is he's not particularly good on the ball, right? No. In addition to the fact that you're young and you chuck him in at the Bernabeu, whatever, right? So I felt that every time there was kind of an opening in there. I mean, compared to what Rico Lewis or a